Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to the Invest in Her podcast. I'm your host, Catherine Gray. Today we have on an exceptional guest. Her name is Shira Yevin. She is the founder of Gritty in Pink. What is Gritty in Pink, you might ask? Well, it's an entity that connects the music industry to a diverse community of female creators. Welcome to the show, Shira. Hi, Shira. How are you?
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Oh my gosh, I just love what you're doing. You're really helping to employ female creators by connecting them to the music industry. And I'm excited to talk about how and why you're doing that. But first, I always like to, delve into the background to what led up to this. So I know you are an entrepreneur. You're an activist. You're a musician yourself. Let's talk about why this started and your background, because you've always been a trailblazer. I mean,
Thank you.
Let's talk about how you changed the game in the music industry, which we all know is very male dominated, right? You were on a tour. Tell me the name of the tour.
The Vans Warped Tour.
The Vans Warped Tour.
It's actually America's longest running music festival, but it's a punk rock tour. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I love the pink hair, by the way. And so you were at this festival realizing that it was all male dominated. You guys, the Shira girls, were the only girl band that was, there. And you created the Shira Girl stage at this event, right?
Yes.
And like broke down these barriers. And you had over 300 female musicians on the Shira Girl stage, right?
Yes.
So at this event, I'm sure everybody embraced oh my God, all these female musicians.
Not everybody. Yep. You'd be surprised.
Really?
We definitely faced adversity. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There were bets against us.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that is crazy. So amongst those female musicians on your stage was Joan Jett,
Yes.
who I love, and some other, famous names. And so you really broke down that door at this event. How did you even do this? You're going to this event. How did you build this Shira Girl stage and even get it to be part of this, the largest music event? How did you do that?
So I was actually on the tour in 2003 with the Truth campaign, which, if you're familiar, it's an anti-smoking campaign for teens. And that's when I noticed there were literally no female musicians on stage. There was one singer. There was not one woman holding an instrument. Now, I grew up in the riot girl scene of New York City. And so when I would ask people, why are there no women on this tour? They would tell me, oh, girls don't play this kind of music. I said, no, that's not true. I have 10 friends in all-girl hardcore bands, know? So I kind of called BS on that. And so I went to the tour creator, Kevin Lyman, who's now a mentor and close friend of mine and an advisor in Gritty. But I said to him, why are there no women on this tour? And I asked him if we could create a space for women in the girls' garage tent. And I had a DJ in my band at the time. We said, well, come, we'll spin music, we'll host bands. I got friends. He said, great idea. It's the 10th anniversary of the tour. We have a lot going on. Let's do it next year. When you're 21, a year is a decade, right? So we said next year. Yeah. So we just decided, F it, we're going to crash the tour. We're touring in a pink RV. We just drove in, set up across from the skate ramp. I already kind of had friends in the tour from working at the summer before. It was in Fullerton. And, we set up and we kind of held our breath, wondering if we are going to be kicked out, And Kevin Lyman just walks by and he's looks around and he's I'm all nervous. And he's like, Shira. And then he just turns to me and says, so you on for the rest of the tour? So it was both an invitation and a challenge is the way I looked at it. And so, we were in this little, beat up pink RV and there were bets against whether we would make it to the end of the tour. And so when the tour rolled through to New York, I said, I've always wanted to have a movement bigger than myself. I love performing. It's my favorite thing in the world, Yeah. I love it even more than being a CEO and sending emails, but I've always just wanted
I'm
to.
I'm sure you love it way more than that.
But I do love this new role I've stepped into being a CEO. I mean, even just coming here, shooting this podcast is exciting, but performing is my ultimate passion. So, a lot of people in my career, my managers have said to me, if you just focused on your own career, you'd be so much further. But I said, that's not my vision.
Right.
So when the tour rolled into New York, I said, I have some amazing female friends. Can I bring them? Can I host them? Right. And he said to me, if you can make it happen, I will let it happen. So I somehow got Blondie's old sound guy and a huge sound company to donate the sounds. I've just been on this crusade for as long as I can remember,
Wow.
And we did it. It was great. It was on Randall's Island, which is a dustbin if you've ever been to that venue in New York City. And so we decided to come back. Then because we proved ourselves, we were invited back the next year to host an official stage.
Right.
And his team kind of took me under their wing and helped me figure out how to go about getting sponsorship and things like that. And so we partnered with MySpace in 2005, and we booked all these bands, and we got Paramore on their first ever tour when Hayley Williams was 16. Now they're this huge band. So that was exciting. And
I love that story. I mean,
you.
just knocked down. You're just one of those girls who kicks down the doors.
Yes.
And this is even featured in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? What does that even mean?
So we did the full tour in 2005 and 2006. Joan Jett was on the tour playing main stage, of course. But she used to be a huge supporter of the stage. She would bike over and watch the girl bands from the side of the truck. It was like a pink truck that we created the stage. And the last day of the tour, we had her on the stage, and I got to perform Bad Reputation with her. It was incredible.
My God.
I know. I felt like I was in the Runaways. She's like, you sing lead, I'm going to sing backup and play guitar.
Oh my God.
I know, it was nuts. We were on the side, rehearsing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the Runaways. So we did that, and then that same day, the tour ended in Cleveland, and they were collecting items for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Warped Tour exhibit. So they said, we want to get your set list, from when you had Joan, your tutu, my shirt, my CD, my poster, and we were involved in that. They did, the first one was in 2007, and then recently in 2019, they actually brought back for the 25 years anniversary of the festival. They brought it back, and so it was such an honor. I got to go to the Rock Hall of Fame and see all my stuff in the case, and
wow,
it was incredible.
I mean, you're amazing. So it wasn't enough for you to kick down that door. Now you're like, I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to go badder. I love it. It's like now you're launching this whole community to help female creatives connect to the music industry. So let's talk about what Gritty in Pink is and what that means. So when we talk about female creatives, we're talking about musicians, but also photographers and who else?
Right. So it's creators and also professionals. So any women or non-binary individuals that are working in all aspects of the industry. So we have, of course, music and audio like session work, live talent, which we recently added, and local services like photo and video, as you mentioned, hair, makeup. But we also have business, marketing, graphic design. So really anything touching the industry.
Anything that is a creative position.
Exactly. Right. Creative. And also we have some business as well. So, professionals, like we have, sound techs and business coaching. I mean, really, we want to be that destination, just to get whatever you need. And we hope to, prove ourselves in the music industry so that we can expand to every industry. That's the big vision.
Right. And what it is in the music industry, which very male dominated, as you mentioned, as is Hollywood and other verticals. A lot of times people say, we're making a movie or whatever, we need music for it, or we need a sound person, whatever. And they're like, we can't find women.
Right.
So you're like, oh no, here's our community. You can find women in every aspect of the creative that you need. So you're really for, let's say there was a corporation and they're making a commercial and they want a woman to write the music for that commercial, they could come to Gritty in Pink, right?
Right.
Okay. So tell me all the usages of it. Like, let's say I'm a female creative, in marketing or, a photographer or a songwriter. I would come into that community because...
So one of my favorite examples is I talk about, when you, let's say, want to do a campaign for Pride Month, right? And you want to be authentic and organic with it, so you're looking for a queer creator. So one of the things that I love about the In Pink Marketplace is we have these diversity tags. So you can search for, queer, and it comes up, and you can get a photographer, content specialist, a TikTok expert, so you can get all those things for, maybe you're looking for a woman of color for a Black History Month campaign. So In Pink makes it easy. So, it's a searchable database, kind of, like Airbnb, but it goes beyond the database because we need things to be trackable. I think there are a lot of nonprofits out there that have, databases for female creatives and whatnot. But we want to remove that excuse because sometimes, when you send a guy to a database, he says, oh, this looks like too much work. I'm just going to call that guy I know, you know?
Right.
And I get it. We've all done it, friends and family, but we realize that, we have to remove those barriers and remove those excuses. And so we have this pipeline and you can't say, I can't find one anymore,
Well, and the other thing is, I would imagine, are you teaming up with someone like WeBank? Because WeBank certifies women to be female-owned businesses, and the corporations that seek out that WeBank certification are companies that have a quota where they need to get a certain amount of women, or let's just say they're also LGBTQ certified,
right?
That they need a certain quota of that, and they don't know where to go. So Gritty and Pink is a great solution, especially if they're looking for something in the lines of needing marketing or branding or music or photography or whatever, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a great idea. So we'll have to chat about that after the show.
Yeah.
But absolutely looking for corporate partners, companies where diversity, equity, and inclusion, is an urgent issue. And, we always say diversity, it's not just the right thing to do, but it's better for business. So as you mentioned, companies are realizing that when you employ more women in a more diverse workforce, you have an advantage and you actually are statistically more likely to hit your financial goals.
Absolutely. And that is like solid research. That's fact, so fact, not fiction.
Right.
So I love that you put this together. How does one participate? Is there a fee? What does it look like?
Yeah, great question. Yeah. So it's free for any female creators or pros to sign up. And
free? I mean, come on, ladies. This is an unbelievable.
No-brainer, right?
Yeah, hello.
So we do have a transaction fee funded on the buyer side. So women keep 100% of what they earn, which was important to us because a lot of these other platforms double dip and they take from both sides.
Yeah.
And we will be launching memberships down the line as well, both for subscriptions for members as well as enterprise solutions.
Love it. So the enterprise, the company, they hire on your platform, pay a small fee to you guys for that service, and then pay directly to the creator.
Well, so it's much like, a Fiverr, Upwork. So they pay us.
Oh, got it.
And so what happens is you'll go on, you'll search, you find who you want, you send a request to book, the rate's right there, or you can also message them before you send the request. Let's say you want a special rate for something. And then they accept the booking, and then the money is held until you mark the service as complete. So, we're sort of like, the middle woman.
Middle woman. I did there? Love it.
Yeah.
And so I know one of the people that's the face of your community is one of my favorite musicians, which is Melissa Etheridge.
Yes.
That is so awesome.
Thank you. She's amazing.
Yeah, representing both women and the LGBTQ community. Right. So the ideal face for your community. How did you get her involved and why and how fabulous is that?
Yeah, it was amazing, honestly. So one of our former interns who became a graphic designer for us went to work for her management company. And, here's a good business tip, right? Like always go after, the assistant or, the little guy, so to speak.
Yes.
For lack of a better word, because, she got me a lunch with Melissa's manager, Deb Klein. She's amazing. And I brought my laptop and I presented the whole thing, and she said, "Okay, like I'm gonna pass this on to Melissa." And it was just as quick as she saw it. She said, "I'm in. I love this. I want to support what they're doing." And Melissa is so cool because she doesn't give a what. Like a lot of artists are so concerned about what do people think of him. Is this cool? And she just does what she wants. And she's always been a trailblazer and a pioneer. Of course, being one of the first women in rock to come out in the early 90s, way before Ellen, way before gay marriage was legal, before Glee, before Lady Gaga, right?
Yeah, she's unapologetic.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And, when I met her, she has that energy, that she carries with her, where she's just so cool. And she's just very like, you guys are doing a great thing,
Awesome.
I want to support it. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that is great advice to other entrepreneurs that you just gave. Like, how do you get a big celebrity or well-known person to align with your entity, and it typically is through some sort of warm introduction, which is why connecting is so important. And you are like the ultimate connector. I met you at a Gangels event that, Gangels is an entity that helps invest in LGBTQ founders,
right.
and most of the investors are LGBTQ, and so you were there hustling, and I'm like, I like this girl. She's got great energy and great drive, and so I was like, whatever I can do to help you, I'm in, and I love that you're helping other women in such a industry that really needs that leg up, so I just love what you're doing. And every week I talk to you, somebody else is getting behind you. I know we just talked about Live Nation is now getting behind this Gritty and Pink community, which is awesome.
Thank you.
I know you're still looking for investors and corporate sponsors, so anybody out there listening that says, oh my God, I want to be involved in this amazing trailblazing community that's breaking down doors, they can get a hold of you. grittyandpink.com, right?
So the marketplace is actually inpink.com.
Oh, inpink.com.
And the company website is grittyandpink.co. So
okay, grittyandpink.co or inpink.com. And obviously they can find you on social media.
Yes.
Speaking of that, you have done an incredible job of growing your following on Instagram. You have millions of followers, right?
Thank you so much. Well, so we have a collective following. We have over 250 artists in our community with a collective following of 27 million on Instagram and TikTok. So our community has helped us grow completely organically, without any marketing campaigns or whatnot. Across our channels, we have over 10,000, but, it's growing every day. And, we're just so grateful to, have access to so many artists that are really up and coming. I mean, some of these artists have millions of followers on TikTok, and the fact that they believe in us and they join our Instagram live streams, they bring all their fans to us. And so, it's been an incredible journey.
That's really the leg up that a corporation would have to do business with you, to look for these up-and-coming influencers that are in your community if they want to take advantage of their millions of followers. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense to hire someone from your community for that reason alone. Forget the fact that it's great that they're helping women, but they're also helping themselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very cool concept. You, I know, were involved in the Long Beach Accelerator.
Yes.
I'm always a big proponent of startups getting in an accelerator program. Tell us about your experience. Did that really help you?
I mean, it was amazing. I can't thank them enough because they were our first check-in. And as you know, the first check is the hardest check to get, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was so happy I cried when I found the news because I had been bootstrapping over the pandemic for 18 months and
as do most startups,
right and and I of course had my parents ask me when I was going to get a job and I said no, this is it.
Every entrepreneur has that. Somebody asked that question, their parents, their friends, everybody.
Person I was dating, but I think that for me getting that first check-in was just so validating because it just feels like it legitimizes what you're doing and someone else believes in the vision. Of course you have a lot of friends and advisors believe in you, but to have someone actually put their money where their mouth is, is a game changer. And so I was actually in Puerto Rico when I got the email and I ran out to the beach and it was such a special moment. And, ironically, I had been, putting off incorporating the company. And what they say, you make space for something, it arrives?
Yes.
I literally incorporated it on September 20th and I got the email the morning of September 22nd.
Wow.
And I was already ready for it, know?
That is great advice. Just start it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And the rest will start to fall into place. But you got to get the universe's energy in motion, right?
And you have to expect it. Absolutely. Law of attraction, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I had a good feeling because I had a good interview. I had a great feeling about this program. And every morning I would check my email, expecting to see, like Oprah says, expect the check when you go to the mailbox. Yeah. So I expected to see the acceptance email, and I got it, and it was just so exciting.
That's a great
story. Sunstone Management is the VC partner of Long Beach Accelerator. So I got to shout out love to Sunstone as well. Yeah. And we're just so happy to be partnered with them.
Because I've had other female founders tell me, even if it's a small amount that's invested in you, it gives you the courage to go on because someone else is validating what you thought was a good idea.
Right.
And then the money not only comes with the funding, but typically they will help open doors for you or connect you. I imagine the accelerator was not just for funding, but helping you open doors, helping you develop your business plan, your pitch deck. This is why an accelerator can be invaluable, right?
Absolutely. And the Long Beach Accelerator is so amazing because they focus on, helping underrepresented founders. And it's also female run, which not a lot of accelerators are.
Right.
So, shout out to Andrea who runs the Long Beach Accelerator. But
yes, I was actually on a panel with Andrea, and they are an amazing outfit over there. So I'm so happy that A, to give them a shout out, and B, that you were a recipient of that, and that it really truly did help you launch your business.
Oh yeah, it absolutely did. And I think that program is getting more prestigious as the word spreads, and just very honored to be part of. We were part of the third cohort.
Did they help you with your business plan and everything? Yeah,
they really have a very comprehensive educational program. They have all these modules that some accelerators are just focused on fundraising, but they were really focused on growing the business. Building dashboards, the hiring plan, the customer product market fit. So it was. And then I also got an amazing mentor through that, Chris Mendez, who is now one of my advisories on my advisory board, one of my advisors. So and he comes from Facebook and Amazon, so he's got a ton of tech experience. And so it's been quite the ride. When I actually think about my journey to getting Live Nation on board, they were sort of part of that in an indirect way. We had a demo day, and this guy, Bill from Universal, saw my pitch and invited me down to Nashville to speak at the Music Biz conference in May on the Women in Tech workshops. And while I was there, I met with Live Nation, and sort of, I think that was one of the final meetings that sealed the deal. So, also never underestimate the power of an in-person meeting, even if you have to get on a plane.
Right. Oh, that's incredible. What a journey. And it just goes to show, that the accelerators can really connect you to the right people. Did they help you with your business plan too?
They did help with the business plan. It was like a one-pager. People like the Canvas these days, so it's not like this 10-page. So that was great. We had a lot of focus on that. And I also want to say, just to anyone who might be listening who's applied to accelerators, not gotten in. I mean, I applied a lot of times before I got into that one, so don't be discouraged. I applied to Y Combinator, Techstars, and so, you just have to find the one that sort of sees your value.
I love that. It's like these people who say they get their book published, but they had to talk to 150 publishers before it happened.
Exactly.
It is about tenacity, isn't it? And one other thing you mentioned about getting him on your board, I always tell founders, it's so important to create a strong board. It gives you credibility.
Yes.
I tell them that all the time. So, it's one of the easiest, best things that people can do is build out their board. And I know you're building out yours. And, if there's some mover and shaker out there in the music industry that wants to be on your board, I know you welcome that.
Yes, absolutely. And always just like looking to, diversify the board. And and it's just been incredible. I think that was one of the first things we did, before we even thought about fundraising was, put the advisories.
See, that's so smart of you, because sometimes that's the last thing people do, and they don't realize that actually is what helps them get funding a lot of the time. So smart.
Yeah, well, people want to see your team, that you have experience, and
no, I looked on your site. You have an amazing team. It really knocks it out of the park. And as you continue to get funding, I know you're just going to grow this baby, because you're onto something here, and it's amazing, and you're amazing. So
thank you so much, Catherine. You're amazing. You have connected me, already to so many incredible women and investors and advisors, and the Wealthy Women Summit and everything that
we had a blast at that.
We're like already besties. It feels like I've known you for years. So
exactly. Well, I know it's going to really affect a lot of lives, what you're doing, and really make a difference in that niche. So good for you. I'm cheering you on. Anybody out there who's an angel investor or a fund manager that wants to get a hold of Shira, are you on LinkedIn too?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Okay. Absolutely.
Shira Yevin, so let's spell it Shira for those just listening and not watching us. And then it's Yevin.
Yes.
It's called Gritty in Pink. Let me have you give the websites again.
Sure. So the marketplace is at inpink.com, INPINK.com. And the company website you can find at grittyinpink.co.
Cool. All right. So we're going to look for you on social media. Of course, you all can find us, Invest in Her. Catherine Gray, Invest in Her on Instagram. And then She Angel Investors is every platform as well. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Shira, for your time and sharing your experience. Always love to share other people's experiences because it encourages and inspires other women as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember to invest in her. All right. Make it a great week, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Remember, if you're looking to launch a business or grow your business, check out our e-course, 6 Ways to Fund Your Business, available at sheangelinvestors.com.